Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is the K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 26th of November 2021, and the time now is 6:17 a.m. Well, today our topic is why do you think it's right or wrong to judge a person's life only by the results he has achieved? Right, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so here we go. Yeah, and for this topic, yeah, I think there is also um, uh, some gray area in my on my mind when thinking about whether it is right or wrong to judge a person's life just by the result that he has achieved. And for this one, I think maybe I would say it is wrong because of the terms only. And then, uh, in my opinion, I think results is something that which is very common and then also very uh, uh, obvious things that is visible for us to see, and then so that uh, we always take into account when judging somebody's life. So I think it is something needed to be uh, taken into account in judgment, but maybe they are also some other things that we can take into account too. So my answer is no. A short answer for this for the whole question is no because of the words only. And also, in my opinion, I think um, when we want to judge a person's life, maybe we can look at three things. And firstly is the direction. The second is factor, and the third one is conditions. So for this one, the first one, the direction is about uh, which part, which aspect of this person's life you want to look at. It could be like job, career. It can be how much wealth he has accumulated, and maybe you can look into his social life, look into his maybe happiness level. It can be many, and it's just the part that which part you want to judge, which part you want to look at. So I think firstly, this is the things that we need to consider. And second, second is factor. For this one, I think let's say if we look into uh, the the job and career, which is the first one, and then uh, what do you want to judge? For example, uh, let's say you want to judge this person whether he is good at maybe leadership, or he is uh, or he uh, do a lot, give a lot of contributions, contribute a lot, and then there are also so many factors to be considered when you talk about a specific direction. So this is the factors, and then number three is the conditions. The conditions here, it could be something like uh, the background or the situations of that particular person. For example, uh, a person who live in uh, let's say a very developed country, and the other person look at those uh, undeveloped country or developing country, and yeah, so the conditions here are different. And how about other examples like one guy live in uh, maybe the 21st century, for example, 2020, and the other guys maybe live in uh, uh, 1940. Yeah, and then at that time we know there are wars. The conditions is different. So when we judge people, maybe uh, conditions um, will make things different. So also make us difficult to judge sometimes. Yep. So these are the three things that I would like to mention, and then uh, they are not only, so you can see they are not only the result. Um, Next one I would like to talk about uh, maybe is success. Yeah, when we judge a person's life, maybe we consider whether this guy is so-called successful. And uh, I think for this one, the definition of success could be subjective, yeah, from people to people. And let's say if my definition of success is the capability to exploit our own potential and achieve goals and objectives in life, including happiness. So if this is my definition, um, then you can see that this is not only based on results. Um, uh, uh, okay, let's say there is a person uh, who okay, look, another example, which is one of the the story that I read, which is like in about 8th century, yeah, which is in China. At that time, there is a job which is called the alchemist, and then at that time they are looking for two things, and one of the things is called the elixir of life, which is like the something like the medicine you eat and then you can live uh, very very long and you won't die, and it can also cure any diseases. So they're trying uh, to to invent those elixirs of life, and then actually they didn't succeed. So the result here is actually a failure. Yeah, they spend maybe their whole life uh, inventing these things, but they actually didn't get anything. I mean, if they didn't get the elixir of life, but actually because of doing this, those trial and errors that they did, they actually accidentally uh, invented the uh, uh, I'm not sure whether I can use the term boom, 火药. Yeah, they accidentally invent that maybe it's like the ingredient of a bomb. So in that case, we can see if we compare uh, the main objective of them, that is a failure. But if we look at another aspect, that is not a failure. That is actually uh, a great contribution to human. Yep. So um, yeah. So sometimes we also not looking at the result. We also looking at the maybe the process. Also other aspect. And maybe another example could be one guy, maybe uh, he invent or he develop uh, a healthy lifestyle or a healthy diet. Yeah, so maybe it is there are uh, some many things to be followed. For example, what you need to eat, and then how much exercise you need, and then how much sleep, what you need to do, and then maybe he developed maybe a formula or a lifestyle to be followed. If it is effective, let's say people that follow this method, and then they can feel they are healthier, the quality of their health increase. So I think this can be called successful. But how about if this guy he successfully invented this, but maybe die quite young, maybe die at 40 or 35. So in that case, maybe the result isn't that good, because he invented this kind of lifestyle in order to maybe live healthier. And but for him himself, maybe he died of some illnesses, some disease, which is uh, unavoidable maybe to him. Then we also look at his contribution, which is the things that he invented, and it's not necessarily the result. Yeah, and but actually, when I was thinking about this example, I also think like we can also say it is a result, right? Because the things that he already invented. Yeah. So how about if I change the example a little bit, like this guy is inventing uh, a particular type of healthy lifestyle, and then he has the formula, but it is not done yet, and it is not maybe it has some bugs inside. Uh, and then this guy maybe die before invented, before successfully developed this lifestyle formula. And after that, another guy take over this, and then maybe spend like 1 or 2 years, and then improve the existing formula, and then successfully invented it, and then make it really successful. So in that case, the second person uh, is the person that complete the job. But we can see that in the process, the contribution of the previous guy, he didn't get any results yet, but he did have some contribution in the process. Yeah. So yep. So I think maybe we need some discussion because I give quite a lot of example, and I don't have a clear mind enough to like give out to a conclusion.
Uh,
Uh,
and you give these two examples, it remind me something, which is something that you can control and something that you cannot control. Now, if you look at this thing, um, then you suddenly realize that you need to define the result first for this topic.
hmm.
So, if you say something that you cannot control, for example, uh, the person died earlier, this is something that you cannot control. The person cannot control, and then are you looking at the result, or if somebody is very successful, but because of his or her successful, people want him or her to die. Yeah, hire some killer to kill him or her. And will you call them successful? This is unavoidable. This is luck involved. This is lucky. Yeah, some people are luckier than other people. Mm. Hello. Yeah. Will my voice too small?
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, it's okay. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah, can. Mm. And so if you try to exclude the things that you cannot control, and then everything makes sense. So for example, uh, one of the example which is the people have done the inventions, and then he died earlier. He is successful because of his action, because of his contributions. even though he died earlier. And also the second example, which is even though the people didn't finish the process, but he did contribute a lot to the society or to the work and died earlier. He also successful because he also make the progress forward. Yeah. So this so I think yeah, yeah. So I think this is the key point, which is the definition of result, whether you can control or cannot control. And just now but uh okay, I have actually three key points. Uh, which is a three question to you. Just now you talk about the only, so we shouldn't judge the person life only by the result. And so you say because of because of the only, so that you think it is wrong. And then so but what percentage? What percentage will you weight on the result? 70%, 80%, 95%? Even
Um,
though 99% is also wrong, right? You can say I shouldn't 100% judge people lives by using their result. I shouldn't judge people 100% based on the result, but 99.99% can make the statement correct, can make the statement true. So uh, it's not the only, and if we move forwards, it becomes the percentage. Mm.
mm,
And then
no,
this is the first one. Uh, and then the second one, which is just now you introduced one model to explain this thing, which is the directions, factors, and also the
conditions.
last one is conditions. Yeah, and then but after that you give some example, which is maybe the alchemist example, maybe the inventors example, and yeah, some people did something and then uh, because of the lucky or because of the serendipities, and he working on one thing and then he discovered another thing. And can you call it success? Because based on the model, which is you need to look at their direction, you need to look at the factors, you need to look at the conditions. And in the example, when you explain this model, you use the career and job. Yeah. For example, we want to look at their career and then what makes them success. So this is a factor, this is direction, and also the conditions. You need to look at whether this is whether it is contribution to the environment or more contribution to them, themselves, individual in that condition. Yeah. So this is one example, which is you first you look at the career and job, and then you search the factors. Yeah. And then another which is you also look at the direction, you also look at the factors, but you found that the factors is actually lucky, and their main project is failed. Their main project failed, but they success very successful in other area. Yeah. So the second question, uh, how to explain these things using the model, and then the third thing which is uh, the third thing which is the directions. Yeah. For example, people focus on career and job, but maybe they are miserable in family relationship. They are the bad parents or bad partner. They focus too much on career and job, and then they neglect their family relationship or friends relationship, friendship. or even their health. Maybe some people focus their wealth but lose their health. And then how to explain this using the model? Because in the model, you're looking at the directions. Yeah, so this is 3 questions.
Yeah, and actually for the first question, which is like how many percent that I think it is wrong to just focus to just judge a person's life by the result he has achieved. And yeah, just now I say I think it is not so correct because of the words like only. In my mind actually yeah, I think in my mind actually results uh accounts for quite high percentage. It is like
Yeah,
70 to 80%.
yeah. Because if the result is bad, we don't bother it, right? We don't look at them. We look we look at the success example, and then we try to find some similarity, and then those things we can follow, we can try to extract and then apply in our real life. So based on this logic, yeah, majority of the percentage, majority of the portion, the big portion is a result. Just just about the extent, yeah, uh, how much, yeah, how much of the percentage. Mm, yeah, you can continue.
And then the second question is like you say just now in my example, uh, uh, the direction is about job and career, and then if let's say this guy gets some, is it the example of elixir of life, the alchemist?
Yeah, yeah,
So he didn't successfully invented the elixir or so-called discover the elixir, but they accidentally discovered the ingredient of boom. And so the factors here just now you also included the luckiness. Um, um, yeah, actually, if I think if I follow this model, it couldn't be called success. Um, it depends on which direction we are focusing in. Uh, and then because firstly, we know that the objective of this guy is not this one. So when we talk about elixir, then that is a failure. Also, their objective is elixir. And but the ingredient of boom, we can say yeah, but that is also contribution. When we judge them, they did have the contribution. Um, yeah, maybe I think luck is the best things uh, to describe this case. So uh, when we judge them, so maybe don't overestimate. Maybe we need to account for the luckiness they have, and of course their hard work. Uh, so uh, so I think that just now the first question I give like 70 to 80%. Let's talk about I say is 80%. So the other 20% I still think something like the hard work, something in the action they take uh, are also contributions in the process. So I think maybe in the second question, uh, I think they successfully invented the ingredient of boom mainly is attributable to luckiness, and also like there are 20% of uh, success I will attribute to maybe the hard work, the action they do, trial and errors. Yeah, so these are my response to your second question.
But how do you link this to the first question I asked you? which is how much percentage. You say around 70 to 80% based on the result. And then, so if follow this logic, so the people get the result. Yeah, the people had a good result. So no matter what, for 70 to 80% for success, and another 20 to 30%, we look into detail. Is
yeah,
it that? Is it correct? Or
yeah,
maybe my my statement is wrong, and which part is wrong?
not your statement is wrong. Is that I don't get what you want to
Oh,
say. Maybe. Yeah, I
yeah,
did not.
yeah, because just now we say that is if you only judge people by using 100% results, by using result 100%, fully rely on the result, and it's wrong. And then how many percentage you need to rely on the result? You say 70 to 80%, right? Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. So 70 to 80% belong to the result. You judge people 70 to 80% based on the result. And why is the remaining percentage 20 to 30% based on other things, non-results, maybe process, maybe direction, maybe factors, maybe condition. I don't know. That's the 20 to 30% is non-result factors, non-result things. Okay, and just when you say that uh, the Edison's example, which is you will say like maybe 80% is because of lucky, and another 20% is because maybe the hardworking, uh, the maybe the patience, maybe determinations, or something else. Yeah, so it seems like but because you say 80% is lucky, then we use then uh then you judge people based on the result, and then you found that you judge people based on the result, 80% or 70% based on the result, but the result is contributed by lucky.
Yeah.
Then this means you judge people by lucky.
Yeah. Now I see.
You Yeah.
Luckiness cannot be judged as the success. A very direct example is like one guy maybe win the lottery and he has uh, uh, he won maybe 20 million. Yeah. So in that case,
It
he
cannot call success, right? Because this is just his lucky.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So you are right. This is a good example. So this is what I'm trying to ask. Mm. So
Yeah.
the logic in second question and the logic in the first questions is totally opposite.
Okay. Third question. Yeah, maybe let's stay at the second questions longer. Um, the second questions, we don't judge uh the we don't judge the luckiness, and then uh but they did have a result, and uh that result is is actually taken into account. Uh, yeah, but that is only for the part that I say maybe the hard work, the action, determination. But it still deal with result, right? Is it
Mm.
or didn't?
What?
In the second your question second question,
Mm.
uh, we also taken into taken we also take result into account, right?
Mm. Mm.
Mm. Yeah. So okay, the third question.
Yeah, I still uh mm, so yeah, so what's the answer of the second question? What's the explanations?
Um, the the second question, I also agree that luckiness couldn't be included when judging people.
Mm,
And uh, but something like the action, the hard work, determination, in my opinion, it can be included, included in. And uh, but I'm, I think if there is no result, let's say they didn't successfully get the elixir, they didn't also accidentally invented the ingredient of boom,
mm,
then we won't, maybe we won't even talk about them. So
yes.
result is yeah is taking the actually an important weight.
Mm. But if you agree that then that means you judge them by lucky,
Mm,
or
yeah.
maybe you should exclude these kind of people when judging.
Mm,
Okay,
right.
the first thing is, do you think they are success?
Um,
Yes.
they are lucky.
Mm, yeah, you can say this. But to me, I would say they are successful. Mm, because compared to one of the laundries, and then the laundry is really just based on luck. And but if you want to say the people gain a lot of money uh, from gambling, and then this is different, totally different from the lotteries, because it may because they are the experts, and the experts in the game. They know they know how to exploit the game. They know the rules. They know the game rules, and then they know their opponents, so they earn a lot of money. It could be the reason. Yeah, so it is not fully based on luck. They use their technique.
So
Mm.
when we compare
And
those
also,
and those expert gamers, so we can see one is with knowledge, the other one is with little knowledge, right?
yeah, but it also need to based on luck. They need to, because luck is something like risk, opportunity, and danger. Yeah, even though an expert gamble, they cannot they cannot uh they cannot ensure all of their bets will win. Yeah, maybe only 30% of bet will eventually win, and the remaining 70% will lose. Then it comes to how they manage the risk management, right? And then also the portfolio management, how to manage the trade management. Every time how much they maximally can put in. They may have eight or 10 straight lose losing trades, losing bets. And then if they put 10% each time, and then if they experience 10 straight losing trade, and then they out the game. Yeah. So so this is the gambling experts. And then if you talk about back to the example, which is the Edison's, uh and also others, we got a lot of example, which is somebody doing on one things, but they accidentally discover another thing. Somebody working in the psychology academia, and then he get a Nobel in behavior uh economic economics. Yeah. And somebody uh somebody, yeah, uh, another example, which is the Mm, yeah, there are tons and tons. There are there are tons and tons of example. Uh, mm, okay. For example, mm, uh, like let's say uh the the Mark the Mark Zuckerberg, and he dropped from college, and then he do a business, Facebook, and then eventually success. Okay, and then but what if the Facebook didn't success, and then he dropped from college?
Mm.
Yeah. So, but will you say them are successful? I would say yes, all of them are successful. Yeah, and it is totally different. I mean, to me, it is totally different uh, from just winning a lottery. Yeah, because that is really, really purely based on luck. But for this kind of person, they may grab a trend. They may, because of their patience, because of their cautions, because of their curiosity, they discover new thing, and then they realize that it could be a game changer, and then they put more effort on that. Yeah, some people, some people maybe also discover the things, but they don't bother. Just like the Newtons, apple always drop drop from tree, but nobody will think, nobody will relate it to the physics, nobody will relate to gravity, right? Yeah. So uh, so for me, they are successful. Yeah, they are successful. Mm.
Yeah.
And also, mm, yeah, and also actually in investing, there's an area which is called the investor. Angel investor means that they invest a lot of company when they are still is a seed, when they are still in very very early age, early stage, yeah, and they invest a lot of them, maybe 50, maybe 100, but eventually only few of them will success, or the remaining of them will fail. Maybe let's say got only 5% of 5% of them eventually success and become very very successful, become the unicorn on the industry. But the angel investors still earn a lot of money. Yeah, even though they lose 95% of their investment, but the remaining 5%, uh, the return from the returns from the 5% outweigh all the costs. Mm, yeah, make them break even and earn a lot of money. Yeah, they still success even though they fail 95% of the times. Mm.
Okay. So in this case, uh would you think we call them success because of their strategy or because of the overall result of them?
Yeah, and to me, it must have something that uh make them successful, and there's something that we can learn from them. Do you get what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Unless it's just a lottery game, and really you can gain no knowledge from that.
Yep.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah. So this is a second question, right? How about the question?
Yeah. For third question, yeah, I'm sorry. Can you repeat because I only record
Yeah. Can
one word
can
correction. I forgot what
okay.
is
The
it.
third question is because of your model. You say you have directions, you have factors, you also have the condition. And then first you look at the directions, which area you want to look at. For example, career and job, and then you look at the factors. Hey, and then also you look at the condition, whether is it applicable, whether is it caused by the lucky or caused by the environment or caused by themselves, individual factors, or maybe other things. Yeah. So, but the important thing is the direction. First, you choose a direction, you focus on the career and job. And yeah, the people may very, very successful in career, but they may, but they may pay the guys in family relationship, in health. They may have a lot of wealth, but they lose their health. Their friendship maybe is worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then and the question is so, and also because if we want to pursue something, sometimes we need to sacrifice something. For example, I want to pursue the career, maybe I need to sacrifice the family relationship or the friendships. Yeah. So there's something that you sacrifice. There's something that uh, the failure behind every success, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, it's not always the truth. I just use the this phenomena to explain my point. Yeah. So my question is it is it good? Is it good or bad for us just look at one direction?
Mm. Yeah. And in my opinion, I think when we judge people, one of the purpose of judging them is like we want to look into what make them success, and then maybe what can we learn from them. Uh, for example, so uh, uh, direction here is important. I think. Let's say if we look at one guy's, he is very good at, let's say, uh, investment, and then so we can just judge them based on investment, because the purpose of judgment is we want to see maybe their strategies, their ways of investing. So we can for this purpose we can ignore some other aspect. Let's say he didn't spend time with families or friends, or he had a bad maybe he wasn't that living in a healthy life. Yeah, maybe he is uh, he don't have a good body. I mean, he don't have a good health. That doesn't matter. If our purpose is like to judge them, and then we want to learn from them, particularly in that particularly direction.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, I know. My question is, what if the success is because of the sacrifications?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, um, yeah. Uh, this is something that I didn't realize. Um, yeah, for this one, I don't know. I don't know what to say yes or no, because I feel like really because uh, mostly when we want to uh, focus on something, we want to maybe like pursue a goal, we want to get what we want. We more or less sacrifice something, and also uh, sacrifice. Some people sacrifice more, some people sacrifice less. Uh, um, I think this also needed to be taken into account.
Mm.
Just like, for example, if one guy uh, uh, he earned, let's say, 1 million by just by investing, and the other guy like maybe just earn 50K, sorry, 500K, which is the half of 1 million. But maybe the first guy invests a lot. Maybe he invests like 100 million, then he only
Yeah.
1 million.
Yes.
The other guy, maybe he invests like 5 million, but he get 500K.
No, I mean, this is you narrow the results. Yeah, and in my opinion, you should take all of this into consideration when you're evaluating the result. Because in investing, the most important thing is not how much you earn. Yeah, of course, how much you earn is important, but there's another factor which is, what is your returns, what is your annual returns, what is your compound returns rate? 28%, 29%. For example, Warren Buffett, he can achieve like 25% annual returns goal rate for more than 40 or 50 years. I forget the number of years already. Yeah, and you just need 25% compound rate, and then you can become the next Warren Buffett. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So 25% is not high. The important is the consistency. The important what makes the difference is how long you can sustain it. Yeah. Because and also if you keep first is why it's important. It actually, if you use this metrics, it solve a lot of problems. The first is you will look at the sustainability. The second, you will look at the returns, how much money you earn from an investment. Not just look at the earning in terms of dollar. Yeah. And the second, which is this is the second, and the third, which is because you look at the wrong durations, maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years, maybe 40 years. And then if he can success, the money value, the investment value must not low. She will grow to a very, very big amount. If you can sustain 25% each year, you can maintain the annual compound rate. Yeah. Maybe sometimes some years you earn a lot of money, some years you lose some money, but eventually you can maintain the annual compound rate. And then your money eventually will grow to a big amount. Yeah. So no matter how much money you start, maybe you start at 1,000 or 10,000, eventually you will go to a million or billions. Yeah. If 20 years, if 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. So that means you can you solve a lot of problems. Yeah, you not only solve the problem, which is the money, the capital, the more capital you have, the lower the return you can get. Yeah, you solve this problem. This is the third point. The third point is solving this question, and then the second point is solving the returns. Yeah, what is your returns on your capital, on your investment? And then the first one, which is you look at the sustainability. You look at whether this is based on luck or whether this is based on their strategy. If something that can work for a long time, then the creditability, the worthiness increase, right?
Yeah.
And then the weight on the result is also increased. What do you think?
Okay, so here money is not the main factors or the only factors to get a result. Do you mean this?
What do you mean? I don't understand your questions.
Because let's say we have strategies, we have some maybe good ways to invest. So
yeah, I mean, maybe the first year you can double your money. In second year, you can also double your money. But when your capital grow up, when your capital is 1 billion, can you double your money again?
Probably not so easy.
Yeah, it's not so easy. So so this this is the third point solved. Yeah. Yeah, this is what the third point solved. Because if you look at the annual return rate, the annual compound return rate, if the person can sustain the annual compound rate, you just need to look at it. You look at the direction. You look at the durations, and then you can use this metric to judge whether they success or not. Because of these three reasons, these 3 points. The first, sustainability, long duration. The second is the return is high. The annual return is high. Yeah, return on your capital is not, you only earn 1 million from 100 million. Yeah. So then, and then the third point is because of long durations, and if you can sustain this, your small amount of money can grow to big amount of money, and then you still can maintain the annual rate of returns. Yeah. Otherwise, if you couldn't sustain this rate, if you couldn't sustain and maintain the annual return rate, after 10 years, after 20 years, your annual compound rate will drop, right? Eventually it will drop. And then it's no longer maybe 25% like Warren Buffett. It can drop to 10%, 8%, 5%, lower than the beta. I mean, lower than the market returns. For example, SP 500. In long term, the annual compound rate is 8%. If you earn less than 8%, if you annual compound rate less than 8%, I don't want to use the strategy because I can directly invest in the market. Yeah, you get what it means? Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is not the important point. This is not the important point because this is the investment. This is I mean, it's not very important in our today topics. It's not very important for something that we want to discuss. Yeah. So I mean, where we stop, it's
You say maybe one guy spend a lot of time and efforts and ignore some other aspect in order to get the success.
Yeah. Because of your success is due to your sacrifice, right?
And then I give an example of investment and you explain to.
Yeah. So please go back to the point and ignore the metric when judging the success in investing. Yeah.
Yep. So because the investment just now, it deals with strategies, right? In investment, and instead of how much money you have at the beginning. So go back to like sacrificing our time and other things in order to obtain success. So in that case, I think so time also need to be taken into account. And let's say if somebody have some strategies to get success, and maybe he doesn't need so much time, or sacrificing his time so much on other area.
Oh, do you mean how much time he need in order to success?
How much time he need in order to success?
This is what you say just now, right?
How much time he spend in order
Yeah,
to
yeah. How much time spent you need in order to success? So this is something that you mentioned just now, right?
um I think the time here maybe can be said like how much time uh uh he assign because let's say one guy's if let's say he need to uh sacrifice uh the age from let's say 20 to 30 these 10 years and then totally sacrificing most of the things like families friends health happiness and then he did get the success and within these 10 years and the other guys maybe also starting from 20 years old maybe he worked hard a little bit but he still managed uh, uh, to deal with other aspects like health family friends but he worked hard a little bit and he have I think they have different strategies and then the second guys maybe achieve success at let's say 45 and so now the difference is one is 30 years old achieve the so-called success the other one is 45 um but the second guys didn't sacrifice so much and the first one sacrificed a lot uh so actually they maybe more or less they spend the same amount of time but one assign it uh, to a longer time zone like 20 to 45 which is 25 years and the other one assigned into just within the 10 years yeah so
Mm.
maybe they spend the same time but they didn't assign to the same period of time
Yeah. If you want to use this principle to guide your decision making, to judge a people's life, to learn something from one's life by using this principle, do you think it's difficult?
it is very difficult yeah
Do you
because
think it's possible?
uh, it is it is impossible unless you have like every information um
Yeah,
and make everything countable
yeah.
yeah but
And
on
yeah,
my
but
opinion
and also firstly, you couldn't get hundreds or 200 people's detailed information. Maybe you could get one or two, but the sample size is too small. You
mm,
couldn't confirm
yeah
whether what you learned, what your interpretation is correct.
yeah
Mm,
yeah but on my mind just now you mentioned like about one guy sacrificing other things yeah I think I couldn't answer this question because I
mm.
think time is also needed to be taken into account but uh yeah it's
How do you
uh
take into account? You don't know how to take the time into consideration, right?
yeah
This is what you want to say, is it? Or what? Hello, hello.
yeah yeah
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, for me, through this conversation, actually, it stopped my mind also. The first is the definition of the result, controllable and uncontrollable, and also, but if we, but the first thing is we couldn't, we couldn't, we couldn't understand whether the factor is uncontrollable or controllable without looking into detail, and also it could be subjective. Yeah. For example, maybe the lucky involved, but because of his strategy. And few of them will success eventually. Yeah, just about time. And most of them will fail. Yeah, so the lucky is not the pure luck. The success is deserved. They deserve the success because they try a lot of time.
Yep.
Yeah. So one example is the founder of the Kentucky. This is I think it's 84 years old man, right? Yeah, 84 years old man, and he eventually success uh in his last business, which is the Kentucky, and he failed. I forget the amount. Uh, it seems that it failed more than 90 times. He do a startup. He tried to run a business 90 times, failed. Yeah, he he failed 90 times before he eventually success 90 times.
Yeah.
But is he successful? Yes, very, very successful. Because all the failure, all the experience in the failure contribute in the last business to conduct it. Right? Yeah, so this is the first thing. Without looking into detail, we don't know what is controllable and we should controllable. And even though we can look into detail, it could be subjective. How can we solve it? And the second point, this is if we try to solve it, we know if something that can stand with times, the credibility, the worthiness, the worthiness increase because of their strategic work. Their strategic work in long terms, not in the short time of periods. Some people success in short time, but they fail in long terms. Yeah, some people fail in short terms, but they eventually they success in long term. Yeah, so that we can try to invoke the times and look at their past story. For example, like Elon Musk, this is a he's a very, very successful businessman because he did a lot of business and all of them success. Yeah, all of them success. So he must be a brilliant guy. Yeah, and then you can use this to judge. And also, for example, investment. He failed a lot. He lose a lot. He lose a lot of trade. Yeah, but eventually he success. He did a lot of research and then he invest a lot. He invest in a lot of industry. Yeah, and also you can say it's lucky. And then but this is something that you can look into detail. Yeah. So why this kind of strategy work? Yeah. Why is the criteria? What is his or her criteria when picking the stock, when picking the ticker, the investment? Yeah. So this is something that you can go inside. Yeah. But it start from the result. It totally start from the result. And then how about the third one? The third question, which is the sacrification. Maybe the cause of the success is because of the sacrification. Yeah. And if you apply the first and then the second point just now and then put into the third one, if you want to look at the overall success, you can look at somebody which is successful in life. I mean, they achieve achieve very high level of overall success in life, in wealth, in health, in career, job, family relationship. Yeah, you can see them, and then you take the time in both, see their past. Yeah, look long terms, not 1 year, not 2 years, but 10 years, 20 years. They're successful, and then they maintain it. Yeah, it's not just they sacrifice for the success, and then after they stop sacrificing, they lose the status. Yeah. Yeah. So time here is important here. Even though some we we have a lot of uncontrollable factors, but when times involves, when you let the times in, and then you look long term, you look at the bigger picture, and then you can see who deserve for the success, who are not. And then it go back to our topic. Why do you think it's right or wrong to judge a person's life only by the success he's achieved? If you look at the long terms, the person's success and then he maintain the success, this is the result they achieve.
Yep.
And then you can use this as a filter. You can filter out a lot of people, a lot of things, and you look at these kind of people, very very successful people, and then they successfully maintain it for a very long time, and then they have overall their overall success in their life is high. Yeah. So that couldn't we just based on the results when judging them, whether they deserve the result?
Yeah, my answer is more toward yes here.
What? A
Yeah.
back connection. Back connection.
My answer is more towards yes now.
Yeah.
Because even though we don't, let's say if we don't look at the result, we look into other ways, it's also, it can be more difficult.
What do you mean more difficult?
Because your ways is like, I like your second, the second point, which is like whether it is, it can sustain, it can maintain those we call success over the time. This is a very important factor, and yeah, I really very agree with this. So looking into other ways, not the results, maybe we can say it is subjective, and also will face the problem like just now. How about sacrificing other things? We couldn't solve the problem if we didn't use this method.
Yeah. But this is what the third point solve. You look at the overall. The second, and it actually means that if you want to learn from particular things, for example, investment, for example, some other things, for example, health. If you want to look into a direction, look at one particular area, you can do that. Yeah. But if you want to look at the overall, you also can do that. Yeah. Do you get what it means? But the most the important which is you need to let times in first, because only by doing that you can know whether it is sustainable. Their strategy, the thing you are going to learn from them is sustainable or not, is a good strategy in long term or not. Yeah. Okay, so do you have anything else to add in?
Yeah, maybe in the review session about the last point, sacrification. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all for today's conversations. How do you feel? Did you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think of our conversation. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocabulary mistake that we made, please also comment to let us know, because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.